Not the kind of breaking news you like to see with Tiger Woods, John. Not the kind of
No,
breaking news you like to see.
sad day, guy. But unlike a sad day, we're going to try to make it positive. Subscribe to the page, like the video, check out the podcast below in the description.
I'm Guy. That's John. And we're big golf fans. We're big Tiger Woods
Yeah.
fans. Tiger Woods is great for golf, but Tiger Woods' back has not been great to Tiger. He announced through his foundation's Twitter page that he's undergone something called microdiscectomy, a procedure to remove a pressurized disc fragment that was pinching a nerve. This is called minimally invasive by WebMD. They've determined he'll be able to make a full recovery. I mean, he's had this procedure 3 times now, or I think this is the 4th, maybe 3rd or 4th. It's the 3rd or 4th.
It's his 5th overall back surgery with someone going in there, and
but this is of this. He's had this procedure a few times.
This specific
This is
one.
not a fusion. He said, "I look forward to training, and I'm focused to getting back on tour."
I'll never forget Steve Kerr. Remember when he was going through all of his issues, he had a statement that really stuck with me. He said, anyone that ever gets to the point, if you can't avoid it at all costs, just the back surgery. Because unlike a knee, unlike a shoulder, unlike feet and Achilles, I think once you go in there, it's the part of a body that's probably like feels closer to like a brain, unlike the ligaments, and they don't really clearly know how to 100% always fix it. And like they can't control it always.
Yeah,
like,
with Steve,
you can fix my elbow.
And Steve, they like nick something because there's no room. It's the human body.
Yeah.
And he had he had a leak. He had a spinal fluid leak.
I'm pretty sure I remember him talking about he spoke with Tiger about it.
Yeah.
They had gone through back issues. To me, Tiger has aged in his 40s a lot like an NFL player. And you watch these documentaries that are coming out, and it's just human nature to forget. And you see how violent he swung. Swang, is that a word? Swung the club.
Swung?
Yeah, but just did that stand out to you watching a lot of those clips? Of just how hard he was swinging?
The second part of the documentary, when he comes back, watching him and thinking, and watching it brought back the memories of watching him live after he came back from all his back issues, thinking, can you keep swinging like this? Like every time he swung, he looked very confident. But me watching him, I cringed every time because of even how violent the reworked swing was. So
yeah, just
I don't count him out. And like you were saying to me beforehand, you don't count him out because of what he's overcome. But every back issue, it just seems like it's just part of what piles on another back issue.
And also now 2019 in April when he won the Masters, we're almost 2 years removed from that. And remember, he was old when he did that, right? He was 44. He had overcome it all. And when he won that, having watched it over Corona again, when Jim Nantz did that back-to-back day with him and Phil, like Phil was on Saturday and Tiger was on Sunday. Remember when there was nothing going on and they were like zooming in and
on AirPods?
Tiger, like Finau, DJ, Koepka, those guys were hitting it farther than him. Tiger like won with his intelligence and guts and let everyone else get destroyed. And I think you really noticed it this year in the limited tournaments he played. I guess it would have been 2020. It's like, God, he just looks kind of old again. You know, it went from like he won the Masters to look kind of old again really fast. And he is just aging. I mean, he's getting closer and closer to 50. Now he has another surgery. I do think the PGA Tour, big picture, is a little lucky. They've had just a lot of younger kind of stardom kind of just on the tour right now. Ideally, you'd love Tiger to still be really good, but that's just – I think there's a decent chance, and I'm not counting him out either, that 19 might have been his last truly, truly great moment. And if that is the case, I do think we're lucky that you were there calling it when he won the Tour Championship in 18. Was it in 18?
Mm-hmm.
And that was awesome, right? Remember the visual of everyone following him down. He had the black undershirt on. I'll never forget. And it was like, this is badass. And then he carried it over. He had like that great stretch of golf. It does feel like that great stretch of golf from 18 into early 19 feels closer to like 5 years ago than 2. I don't know, for me personally. That's what, you know. And part of it,
like, honestly, for me, it feels like yesterday.
Injuries.
But that Tiger feels pretty recent to me. Like my history of Tiger's timelines of injuries and rehab and all that stuff kind of gets to me. Some of it, I'm like, oh, that happened before that. That happened after that. That one feels hell, when he won the Tour Championship, it was like, this is the signature moment, right? It turned out that, like you said, the Masters a year later was the signature moment.
Well, didn't everyone on the grounds think it was a pretty historic moment? Like it was a big deal.
For sure. It was the return, but I think subconsciously it was like, this is going to be this is what he came back for, which was like, no, he came back for more than that. And he, like you said, he won the Masters. I think part of it too, there's a clip in the HBO thing that came out of him talking to Charlie Rose. And again, all the timelines get mixed up, but this is back when he was really struggling. When like he had the yips.
Chip and yips.
Yeah, it was bad. And Charlie's like, "What's wrong?"
Welcome to the club, Tiger.
Yeah, I know. I watched it thinking like, "Oh my!" You know what it did to me is probably triggered my yips watching it. Not that I have yips, I just suck.
You're pretty good chipper though.
Yeah, but then it's not the yips when it's disrespectful to call it the yips. When I duff a chip, it's just because I suck. But he says, and Charlie Rose like, what's going on? He's like, are you any good anymore? And Tiger's like, well, I haven't had time to practice. Like, I've had all these back issues. I haven't had time to practice. And that's where, John, this comes in. Like, ideally, we've talked about it before, right? Ideally, he'd play in a few events and rest and all this stuff. But the sport doesn't really the sport doesn't lend itself to that. Like, you do have to play a lot because everyone you're playing against is playing a ton. And now with all the FedEx money, no one's taking time off. Like, dudes are just playing nonstop and, doing the thing where you rest your body 3 weeks at a time and then play. And it's clearly for him. Like, yes, he's
because the four majors is actually, you got to play typically a tournament or two leading up to that. So you're really at 10 to 12 tournaments minimum a year, right?
Yeah.
My personal opinion after seeing this, and again, I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here. I don't think he'll probably ever win a major again. I wouldn't put money on it, but I just think it's fair to say that's where it's trending, his age. I think there are some spots for him to he could be the all-time captain for the Ryder Cup. Like all-time quarterback when you're in junior high and the best athlete. To me, just name him the all-time captain as long as he wants to do it. He's just the all-time captain. And it was just a couple years ago when he was the captain of the President's Cup. And remember, he was one of their best players. But I just think the back injury, I just think he's aging. He was old when he won the Masters. Remember Jack when he, in what was 86, was 46? I think it's going to be very difficult for an older Tiger, in his 50s, to get a major. It was hard 2 years ago at 44. And really, when you think about it, it wasn't just the Tour Championship. I remember being at Bandon Dunes for my brother's bachelor party. The Open Championship. We call it the British Open. I do. He almost won that, right? He was right in the mix when Molinari ended up winning it. So he had been playing well going into the Tour Championship, that season. That has just not been the case post-Masters in 19, but definitely in 20. You could just, whether it was Corona that threw him off or whatever, he wasn't very good last year.
Yeah. You know me, I'm not, and I've been this way for years. I'm not into Tiger predictions. Like Tiger's out.
Remember,
I'm not into it.
He got a 10 on hole 12 at the Masters. He birdied, I think, 5 of the last 6 holes. So you just got to be careful.
And that course isn't changing much.
No, that would be a spot.
So
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
No cold weather. Basically, just the Masters when it's hot.
Get well soon, big cat.
Yeah.